On October 28, 2024, Vinícius Jr. should have been celebrating his recognition as the best player in the world, but for many, his absence from the Ballon d'Or ceremony was a great injustice. Considered the overwhelming favourite for the award, the player learned that he would not receive the honour, which is expected to be awarded to Manchester City midfielder Rodri, who had an outstanding season. This decision left fans and experts perplexed, especially considering that Vinícius was the most decisive player for Real Madrid, champions of the Supercopa de España, La Liga, and the Champions League. His journey to this point has been marked by deep battles and challenges, from severe criticism of his playing style to insults and prejudices related to his skin colour. A less-known part of his story is the amount of adversity he faced from a very young age. Born and raised in the São Gonçalo community, Vinícius dealt daily not only with a lack of resources, but also with social and racial prejudices that accompanied his humble beginnings. For a boy in his situation, the idea of becoming a professional player seemed like a distant dream. At the age of 10, in 2010, Vinícius achieved something that few believed was possible. He was accepted into Flamengo's youth academy. However, reaching that dream required immense determination. The distance between his home and the training centre was huge, and to make it to practice, he faced multiple forms of transportation, the heat of Rio de Janeiro, and overcrowded buses day after day. But one thing was certain for him: giving up was not an option. With his evident talent, Vinícius began to stand out in the youth categories, catching attention for his speed, dribbling ability, and tactical intelligence, making any defender think twice before trying to stop him. In 2017, at just 16 years old, he shone in the Copa São Paulo de Futebol Júnior, one of Brazil's most prestigious youth competitions, quickly becoming a target for European club scouts. This tournament was a turning point for Vinícius, who began to be regarded as one of the most promising talents in Brazilian football. It was around this time that his life began to take a new direction. On October 22, 2017, something special was happening behind the scenes at Real Madrid. Florentino Perez, the club president, decided to send a Brazilian scout with a specific mission to evaluate all the details of the young Vinícius. The task was not simple, as Real Madrid was not the only club interested in the Brazilian talent. Teams like Manchester United were also watching the young player, and this competition for Vinícius turned into a real battle behind the scenes. During the 2017 South American Under-17 Championship, Vinícius was the standout player, leading the scoring charts and becoming the most talked-about name in the tournament. The young man from São Gonçalo, who grew up in a humble area of Rio, was now attracting the attention of the biggest clubs in the world. The Brazilian scout hired by Real Madrid, Paulo Henrique Javier, was sure he was witnessing a rare talent. His report was emphatic. Vinícius was not only promising, he had the potential to be the face of a new generation of football. Real Madrid's response was swift and strategic. In a bold move, Florentino Perez authorized one of the largest transactions in history involving a minor. Over 300 million reais were invested to secure Vinícius's signing, leaving Manchester United behind. However, this transaction involved not just Vinícius's talent on the field. Real Madrid knew they were acquiring a global symbol. Besides being a player, Vinícius would also be shaped as a brand, someone who could represent the future of world football. When Vinícius finally arrived in Madrid in 2018, few imagined the impact he would have on the club and world football. At just 18 years old, he carried the expectations of one of the biggest transfers in history. The pressure was enormous, but focused and determined. Vinícius never let it shake him. Far from home, he faced cultural challenges, from the language and climate to the food itself. Everything was different from what he knew in Rio de Janeiro. Moreover, fans and the Spanish media were eager to see what he could do on the field. The Real Madrid shirt is one of the heaviest in the world, and the expectations for those who wear it are always high, especially for someone so young. But what Vinícius had already proven in his journey is that he never shied away from a challenge, no matter how great it was. His debut in the Real Madrid first team did not happen immediately. First, Vinícius Jr. was integrated into Real Madrid Castilla, the club's B team. Many viewed this step as a setback, but he did not. For Vinícius, it was a new opportunity. Castilla would be his laboratory, the stage where he would show Real Madrid that he had something special. Game after game, his talent stood out. His dazzling dribbles, explosive presence on the field, and unique ability to turn any play into a scoring opportunity began to draw attention. Reports about his performances at Castilla reached the first team, and soon his name was being discussed by everyone. It didn't take long for coach Julen Lopetegui to realize the phenomenon he had on his hands. The big moment finally arrived. His debut in the first team was in a classic match against Atletico de Madrid at the legendary Santiago Bernabéu. This day was significant not only because of the importance of the game, but also because it marked Vinícius's first step as a Galactico. The match ended in a draw, but there was a sense of novelty in the air. Each time Vinícius touched the ball, the crowd held its breath, and every dribble seemed to promise better days for the club. The 2018 to 2019 season brought ups and downs for the young Brazilian. Even showing flashes of brilliance, the pressure for quick results at a club like Real Madrid is immense. Criticism came from all sides, from the Spanish press, fans, and even some teammates. Every mistake Vinícius made was amplified, but he always showed resilience. He knew that playing for Real Madrid meant facing constant barriers and learning experiences. Each failure became a lesson, not an end. In March 2019, during a crucial Champions League match against Ajax, Vinícius suffered a serious ankle injury. The pain was immediate, both physically and emotionally. The young man who had fought so hard to be there now found himself sidelined for months. Many could have crumbled in such a situation, but Vinícius saw an opportunity. During his recovery, he studied his movements, analyzed the best players in the world, and devised a strategy. That injury would not be a full stop, but the fuel for his comeback. When he finally returned, it felt like something inside him had changed. Vinícius came back stronger and much more determined. His return to the field was warmly welcomed by Real Madrid fans, who now saw in him not just a promise, but a symbol of resilience and hope. He began to show a tactical and emotional maturity that few expected from someone so young. Each game became another step in his evolution. The boy from São Gonçalo, who dreamed of wearing the Flamengo jersey, was now a central figure at the world's biggest football club. But Vini would still face an unexpected challenge, not on the field, but in the locker room. Vinícius Jr.'s journey at Real Madrid was never easy. From the moment he stepped into the Santiago Bernabéu, he knew he would be tested at every turn. Wearing the shirt of the greatest club in the world carries immense pressure, but the toughest challenges didn't come only from opponents. In the 2020 to 2021 season, a delicate episode marked his path. Before a match, a conversation in the locker room revealed that Karim Benzema, one of Real Madrid's idols, had told Mendy to avoid passing the ball to Vinícius, claiming that he was playing against the team. This comment, made behind the scenes at one of the world's biggest clubs, could shake any young player. The support and respect of teammates are crucial for any athlete's development, but instead of letting it bring him down, Vinícius used those words as fuel for his comeback. He knew that confidence is earned, and he was determined to prove that he deserved not only Benzema's support, but also the respect of the entire Madrid fan base. In training, he intensified his effort. Every exercise was an opportunity to show his desire to evolve. He worked hard to improve his technical skills, positioning on the field, and most importantly, finishing, an aspect he had always faced criticism for. Vinícius was not there to be just a promise, but to establish himself as a reality. This challenge motivated him even more. Gradually, the results began to show. In decisive matches, he started to stand out. Every dribble that beat a defense, every precise pass, and every important goal were more than moments of brilliance. They were statements that he was there to win. Vinícius's determination to prove his worth was relentless, and he would continue to respond to criticism in the only way he knew how: by playing, overcoming challenges, and demonstrating that he was ready to be one of the great stars of world football. The 2021-2022 season marked a definitive turning point in Vini Jr.'s career. He formed an unexpected and devastating partnership with Karim Benzema, and that initial skepticism from the French star transformed into deep respect. Together, Vini and Benzema created an almost unbeatable duo, combining tactical intelligence with a sharp instinct for goal that terrorized defenses across Europe. Vinícius not only silenced his critics, but also established himself as one of the main pillars of Real Madrid's attack. His performance in the Champions League reflected his evolution, especially in games against giants like PSG and Manchester City. Every run down the flank, every play that dismantled defenses, and every goal scored testified to his transformation. Vini Jr. was no longer just a promise. He had become a decisive player, capable of changing the course of a match in the most intense moments. Vini's maturity was evident, and the respect he earned in the locker room was reflected in Benzema's words, who now openly praised the Brazilian. The veteran Frenchman, who once had doubts, now recognized Vinícius's value to the team. Their relationship evolved from mere coexistence to an offensive partnership that led Real Madrid to the top of European competitions. However, in 2023, Vini would face one of the darkest episodes of his life, and not within the four lines. Vinícius Jr.'s career has always been marked by overcoming challenges, both on and off the field, but no challenge compared to what he would face on May 21, 2023. Under the lights of the Mestalla Stadium, amidst the anticipation of another important match between Real Madrid and Valencia, a threatening shadow loomed, about to turn the night into a psychological nightmare. Everything seemed normal during the warm-ups until the first signs of hostility began to emerge in the stands. The familiar sounds were laden with hatred and dehumanization. Valencia fans started to emit monkey chants and hurl racist insults at the young Brazilian. What began as isolated murmurs quickly spread, transforming into a wave of hatred that reverberated throughout the stadium. With each passing second, the tension increased, and as Vini ran across the field, it felt like racism was pursuing him. Every touch of the ball brought an increasingly suffocating atmosphere. Vini was no longer just facing opponents on the field, but also the cruelty coming from the stands. The match, already intense, became almost unbearable. In the second half, the situation reached a boiling point. Amid the chaos, Vini identified a specific fan making racist gestures towards him and tried to alert the referee, pointing directly at the aggressor. But the response was not immediate. Instead, the game was briefly interrupted, as if the situation was routine. The cameras captured a side of Vinícius that few had seen. There he was, with tears in his eyes, a young man deeply shaken, not by a mistake, a defeat, or a failure, but by the passivity of a system that was supposed to protect him. His tears were not just an expression of pain, but also a cry of frustration at the ethical collapse of a sport he loved so much. Real Madrid lost that match, but for Vini, the defeat had begun long before the final whistle. When the game ended, Vinícius turned to social media to do what he always did best off the field: speak the truth. It wasn't the first time, nor the second nor the third, he wrote. Racism is normal in La Liga. The competition finds it normal, the federation does too, and the opponents encourage it. His words were a powerful accusation, echoing not only in the world of football, but also in Spanish society. Vinícius was not just defending his honor that day, he was raising a structural issue, pointing to a deep problem that went far beyond that specific match. And the most alarming part? He was right. The racism he faced was not an isolated incident. Throughout his time in Spain, Vinícius became the target of various racist attacks. What could shake any player turned into a true test of character, shaping Vinícius not just as an athlete, but as a symbol of resilience. In the days following the incident, the football world reacted, with expressions of support coming from all sides. However, despite this solidarity, the reality of La Liga remained virtually unchanged. In the face of all this adversity, Vini Jr. did something remarkable. Since Kaká won the Ballon d'Or in 2007, there hadn't been a Brazilian with such prominence. In the 2023 to 2024 season, Vinícius reached a new level. With 26 goals and 11 assists in 49 matches, he not only solidified his position as a star for Real Madrid, but also emerged as one of the most impactful forces in world football. However, what defines this phase of his career goes beyond the numbers. Every dribble, every burst of speed, and every decisive pass carry the weight of a player who transcends the ordinary. The peak of the season, of course, came with the spectacular Champions League campaign. Vinícius was the name that dominated the headlines and echoed in the stands, playing an essential role in securing Real Madrid's 15th trophy. The final victory against Borussia Dortmund, 2-0, will be etched in the memories of fans. But the unforgettable moment came in the last minute, when Vinícius, receiving a pass from Bellingham, finished with the calmness of a veteran, securing the title with a goal that will be immortalized in the club's history. Against Dortmund, he not only scored, but dismantled the opposing defences with his speed and vision, leaving defenders powerless against his skill and advanced game reading. However, not everything was easy. The Brazilian national team's campaign in the Copa America was a major disappointment, and frustration swept the country. This setback, which could have shaken the individual ambitions of many, only motivated Vinícius even more. He never allowed criticism and setbacks to define his worth. On the contrary, these adversities reinforced his hunger for victories and achievements. After a season of hard work and consistency, Vinícius reached the decisive moment, the voting for the Ballon d'Or. Many believed that, regardless of the disappointment in the Copa America, he had the talent and performances needed to bring the award home. However, the reality was harsh. Vinícius's absence from the Ballon d'Or ceremony already hinted at a great injustice about to occur in the world of football. The journey to the Ballon d'Or was not easy, and Vinícius understood that individual recognition is the result of years of consistency, extraordinary performances, and, of course, collective achievements that weigh in on decisions. For him, not being nominated as the best in the world currently represents not only a personal frustration, but also a failure of football itself to recognize the value of an athlete who has overcome so many barriers and has become a true reference. Looking to the future reveals that everything Vinícius has achieved so far is just the beginning. He did not arrive here by chance and will not stop while there are goals to be reached. Vinícius is proof that, with talent, hard work, and an unwavering mindset, any dream can become a reality. And even without the Ballon d'Or, his journey remains inspiring, an example of resilience and passion for football that will undoubtedly be remembered for a long time. What do you think of Vinícius Jr.'s journey? Do you also believe that not winning the Ballon d'Or was a great injustice? Leave your opinion in the comments. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any content. And check out this other content we've prepared for you.